There's breaking news coming in. The World Health Organization has welcomed the final approval to Covishield and Covaxin. It said in its statement that decision taken today by India is going to help intensify and strengthen the fight against COVID-19 pandemic and the region, unquote. That's the latest coming in. The WHO hailing the COVID vaccine approval right there. Milan Sharma getting us the latest details as far as this story is concerned. She tracks the health beat. Milan, by what point are experts saying that the transmission will be successfully broken, given the fact that we have started the dry runs, we have got the 2 approvals in place as well of Covaxin and Covishield? First up, the emergency use, you'll have healthcare workers, doctors, frontline workers getting this particular vaccine. It'll be a while before the population gets vaccinated.
Chetty, yes, definitely. And that's the message that has gone out at this point, that healthcare workers are a priority now. It's a big day because 2 vaccine candidates have been given emergency use approvals in the last 2 days, with long hour huddles that have been happening under the subject expert committee that works under the Central Drugs Control Standard Authority. And therefore...
Hold on right there. I'm sorry about the interruption. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw now joins us on the phone line, the chairperson of Biocon. Your first up reaction, Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, on these 2 vaccines, which are, mind you, homegrown in India, manufactured in India. They finally get the DCGI nod.
Well, I think this is a landmark decision where the country is now going to be able to access 2 vaccines imminently, which I think is extremely important for our pandemic control. So I'm very encouraged by this particular decision, and I think the DCGI has done well to accord it the emergency use authorization.
And Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, there are lots of naysayers about the vaccine as well. Many experts have also flagged off certain concerns when it comes to the fast tracking of this vaccine too. Will you be taking the vaccine? Are you confident on the efficacy, on the safety of the vaccine?
I think at this point in time, you must understand that the world over, the regulatory approval has been accorded, in a very abbreviated way. And so India is not an exception to this. And I think, the naysayers need to understand the meaning of emergency use authorization, which first focuses on safety and the immunogenic response that the vaccine actually displays. So I think both these have been met. Now, in terms of efficacy, really what we are talking about is really, what we really need to really focus on is the durability of response. So whilst efficacy is being touted as 70% or 90%, it's really about the reinfection of people who have been vaccinated, and that takes time. But I think that data will be gathered by both companies. And I think that's why the DCGI has also asked that that the clinical trials continue and that the Covaxin program actually be conducted in a clinical model, which is like a phase 4 trial where every participant who takes the trial, even under the EUA, must be followed. So I think this is the right approach, because I think from a regulatory science point of view, this is the right approach in an emergency.
Ms. Kiran, you're also a part of the Lancet panel as well. What is the talk that you're picking up in terms of how long it will take for the transmission to break? And now, mind you, while we were talking about a transmission to break of the coronavirus, you also have a new strain of the UK mutant strain as well. What is the sense that you're picking up overall in terms of the breakage of the transmission?
So first and foremost, although the mutant strain has just been discovered, it's been around for a long while, okay? So it is a fact that this mutant strain seems to be more virulent but not more lethal. So that's the first part. Secondly, there is some scientific data or adequate scientific data to say that the present crop of vaccines ought to cover these mutations largely. Thirdly, I think we must also understand that there are multiple vaccines now being rolled out. And I think in India's case, I think we have seen some very good signs of a sharp drop in the number of infections and a sharp drop in mortality. I think many ICUs are empty across the country. So this actually tells you that the virus or the pandemic is kind of waning. So that, I think, is good news.
Thanks so much and appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and joining us with that particular reaction. Kiran Majumdar Shaw there with the first up reaction on the vaccine nod.